Previously on the Goblin Market. Eabis, Charnak, and Dinfa made it back from the city of Hardat after completing their mission of returning to the market with a highborn reem in training, apparently destined to become King Bodum's forever body in exile. But at what cost? They fought Kybers and reems from their own mercantile, with several reems dying outright, and the ancient rogue Kyber, Sheba, somehow remained alive, and inside Gregor went, even when her body is killed and mutilated. This would have been the biggest news in the market, but while on their mission, something happened that seems to have affected every goblin that has hopped plains even once in their life. People are calling it the Big Slow, which hit first as an acute nausea and vertigo, but seems to malinger even days later as a feeling of unmoored discomfort in the belly and inner ear, and a constant low-level dread. Even worse, the very foundation of the Goblin Market as an extraplanar corporation able to practice time arbitrage has been shattered as all planes of existence now seem to share the same timing, and the protection that was once gained by remaining attuned to the Goblin Market while on missions no longer seems to exist. The Elders and Magical Oddities have no idea why, whether it's temporary or if they can ever fix it. To make matters worse, the chaos brought on by the Big Slow seems to have brought to the fore what was once a background simmering conflict between factions within the market. Way, way too far above their pay grade to explore those machinations, Chief Zaggit has sequestered her crew of Kybers, reems, Gregor and Sheba, and a few friends in her own private plane, the Jungle Room. A place she now admits she had paid adjuncts to tune slower than the market to use as a place to train and unlock magical secrets of the old market through a continued connection she has with the Great Elk. The biggest secret she unlocked was a way to make permanent the takeover of a reem. Something she facilitated for her lover and crewmate Hawthorne, who is now occupying a frog. They stay in that jungle room until it is time for the Goblin Court to hear the case against Sheba, who is likely to be executed. Can Zaggit be trusted? Does she have something up her sleeve to save Sheba? Are we in every man for himself territory? Do contracts even matter anymore? Let's find out this week on the Goblin Market.
To the river they tread, only to be swept away.
Morning and evening you may hear the cry, candies and berries and baubles to try, sweet to the tongue and sound to the eye, but heed words of caution when you then decide to come by, come by, get, come by, come by, get, come by, come by, get.
Just beware the Goblin Market.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the Goblin Market, the Dungeon Dads Network. I almost said everyone must
you made
end.
it through that whole paragraph.
So
And
close.
it just scrambled your brain.
I know. As always, I'm your DM, Tom Blaylock, and I am joined by Tim Carr playing Eabis, the Kyber Sorcerer. What is up, Tim?
Yo, excited to get back into this unknown situation. Locked in a room.
Locked in the jungle room. Sam Frank playing Charnak the Botanist. What's up, Sam?
Excited to be here. Excited to put some of these new level 2 abilities into practice.
Oh, man, it's going to be fun. Level 2. Cannot believe it. It's going to be, I mean, if you're not a Patreon subscriber and you didn't hear these hit point totals, it's fucking bananas. I have really made just really poor choices as a DM in this campaign. We'll see how it goes, though. It does allow me to throw really challenging guys at you, with just hoping it works out. And John Watson playing Dinfa the Azamar. What is up, John?
Oh man, I've never been so excited to be level 2.
Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
I just want to get to level 5, but I'm like, no, actually level 2 is not bad.
Level 2 is not bad. Level 2 is not bad. Can I just, I want the numbers. I just want the numbers down the list. Controlled Ream hit points. John, how many?
Controlled Ream, 37 hit points.
It's level 2,
As
37.
a
Sam,
second level fighter,
Fighter.
as a second level fighter. Yeah. Sam,
28
as a second level ranger.
ranger.
Tim, second level
26.
sorcerer. 20. It's just so
It's a
silly.
sorcerer.
It's so stupid. All right. So as I said in my preamble here, we're kind of skipping right ahead to the day in question. You've been in this room for 5 days now. Zaggit never rejoined you. She's been gone this whole time. You've been with your reams. You got to hang with Gregor Wint / Sheba. And Sheba has been doing a real grand job of releasing control but staying inside. And Gregor is just kind of a blowhard. Like it's really hard because
He's just a big body and a pretty face.
he's really pretty, and it's like one of those things where you just really want to like him, but every time he opens up his fucking mouth as himself, it's just vacuous. Like he is a perfect ream in this sense. Like there's nothing in there, like space available.
Wow.
But he seems to be handling the situation with aplomb.
With a plum, yeah. Like he's a
being
goldfish.
spirited away to a different plane
Yeah.
of existence than he has ever known, sharing his body with another entity.
And he was being trained by the Gullfeather brothers. And so they've kind of explained to him that there's more planes than the one he lives on. That, he sort of gets that this was maybe not this crazy, but like that something crazy could happen to him in his training to become like the all powerful noble that he is destined to be. Right. You got some rumors from your contact in Magical Oddities, Adjunct Markeef DeHage. Let me just give you those again. All of the magic smiths from Magical Oddities, they've been gone for 15 years. And the people who were left there have been making do with what they have. And this is one of the reasons why they've been washing weapons, washing items, and presenting them to the market as though they have created them. So they've been really tight-lipped about this. You have no idea who outside of Magical Oddities knows that this shit has been going down. Presumably all the stalwarts, but who knows? You got that all planes are on D timing now. I'll just tell you, this doesn't mean anything about EF or anything like that. It just means that people on D maybe didn't feel the great slow. Right? Like that's really the only real possible takeaway from this, but you haven't talked to anyone from the D plane yet.
And as a reminder, the market is on a D plane.
That's right. So, but the extra planar jumpers are all feeling this, right? Everyone who's gone to different planes in their life is feeling this sort of across the planes. Markeef has a tuning wand that's been spent that he has said he's going to start studying, and that he thinks that there's like big secrets to this, and he believes maybe he can like reverse this thing that has happened. But no promises there. You also found out that one of the most powerful stalwarts in the Goblin court, his name is Hicksaw. The rumor is that he's never been motivated by contracts, and that he has really one big desire that has been unifying the goblins that follow him, and that is to have all banished kings return to the market. And, that's against the overriding motto of leadership, which is once you serve, you must take the derv. And that is you have to accept banishment or else the system doesn't work. And there was some mention that Charnak maybe possibly has stolen from Markeef in the past or screwed him over somehow. There was a mention of the incident of the bookshelf in Atefa. We don't know what that is. And finally, Gregor Wint really doesn't know what the fuck he is. Like he doesn't really fully understand, but he's rolling with it.
Can we... at what point, I suppose, in the jungle room does this level up kick in? Like, can I take advantage of the new once per day spell that I have?
Yeah, sure.
So at some point, Eabis would have to find Davman, who presumably still has that rod tucked away in his belongings, because that's where it lives, right? It's almost like it gets tucked away while dominated, and I don't even know if he's aware of it.
Yes.
So Eabis would have to get it back, and then would want to cast Identify on it, and then
Yes.
see what it does, see if it's worth it, and potentially have a conversation with Markeef about washing it.
Yes. Let me look it up. I was not ready for that. I have it written down somewhere. Have I told you offline what it was?
No.
I have it written down here somewhere. Can I give you that later? So like
Sure.
you have identified the thing. Let me see here. I think
I have cylinder TBD written down.
Pipe.
yeah, it's the lead pipe.
In the conservatory. And it was Miss Scarlet. Who has been replaced in new versions by like Dr. Orchid.
Oh, really?
So, like, yeah, or maybe not. They've changed the clue characters. I have no idea why. Maybe they were old-fashioned.
Perhaps so.
You mean women want more options than being a maid, a hottie, or a fashionable widow?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. All right. I will give you this in a moment here.
Sure.
I believe it is an immovable rod, but I'm not positive. I need to check it. I've written it down somewhere here in my notes. So we are going to get straight to the court. Now, the Goblin Court, every mercantile has their own court system, but it's all housed in the same judicial tent. So this is sort of, I don't think any of you have ever been here before. If you have a reason why maybe you have been, please let me know, and I will adjudicate that separately. Possibly, Dinfa, is there anything you've done that like landed you here as a witness or something like that?
Maybe as a witness.
So you maybe saw the trial of Hawthorne, but I can tell you that at some point they asked everyone who was not a stalwart to leave the court during Hawthorne's trial. So you all make your way there. You see Zaggit for the first time in 5 days, and she has a crow on her shoulder, and she just says, "I don't want to go too deep into it, fellas, but I have a way. I have a way to keep Sheba alive if you want."
Zaggit, why didn't you tell us you were going to trap us in here?
It was for your own good. It's been very dangerous out here.
I have plans.
We've had
Zaggit, plans.
3 attacks out here. I've been with the stalwarts for this whole time, and I'll fill you in after the trial. But we have a mission, and I believe it'll keep us safe.
All right, this is not the end of this.
No, I agree. I agree. It will be fine. It'll be fine. We will handle this. We will handle this later. We have to get. We have a mission that will keep us safe, I believe. And I think you might like it. I don't know.
We have a mission.
Listen, we have a very important decision to make.
What is this decision?
I can keep Sheba alive.
How?
Same as Hawthorne. And she like points to the raven on her shoulder. She says, I can fit her in here.
Don't we have to wait for the court to finish? Or do you want to hide her and she is gone?
She is going to have to show her face, so to speak, in the trial. And they have a way to excise and kill those who are inhabiting spaces. This is not unheard of by the magical court, but it is very rare.
How do we stop it?
How do we convince the court that she is in there if we send Gregor without her inside? They do not sound the same. Gregor has no idea.
I'm saying. She needs to be there. She needs to answer questions. She needs to be on trial.
And then, does your magic kick in at the moment of excision?
I have already casted my magics on this bird here. It will act as a magnet.
Now I am beginning to understand how it is Hawthorne.
But magnets, how do they work?
Well, it pulls the soul. It allows a landing spot. She will have to choose whether she wants to go here or wherever the other place is.
And they cannot track this.
I don't know. I don't think that they know that Hawthorne is who she is. And I walk around the Goblin Market with her with me.
Well, if you've already cast the magic, I don't suppose there's any reason to second guess it.
And
Can't you put her into something that could talk?
well, that is why the Raven, but I did not mention this before, but she is actually a druid. And I believe that she would be able to use her wild shaping ability to become a person. It will be limited at the beginning, but I think that she will be able to do that.
Civilized shape.
Civil shape. So that's my plan. I don't know.
What do you need from us?
So if you were called to testify, just tell them the truth. Everything you know before you went to the jungle room. I would leave out everything about the jungle room. Decide where you were during this whole period.
They will not have seen us around.
Everyone has been hiding who has a brain. There were over 500 deaths in the mercantile just 2 days ago.
By the elk.
There have been even more people who have disappeared. So that you are showing up means that probably you are loyal to the court, to the Goblin Market.
Are our reams around?
No, they're not with you, but Reams would never go to the court.
Okay.
They are almost completely separate from this. They are basically like slaves that they do not believe. They would not believe anything they had to say anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I leave it to you. This is a crew matter.
I think Sheba's path is her own. I think she can provide us valuable insight into what may be happening in the upper echelons of the market. But for right now, I'm focused on keeping my hide clean and intact.
Very well. Transparency from here on out, Charnak. That is what I promised you.
What does she want?
I have not told her. This is not... I will tell her, but I did not want to make this offer to her before you weighed in.
I believe her life is her own to determine.
Very well.
And to a certain extent, also the Goblin Courts.
Very, very well. Very well. There might be a time when you are asked if you feel comfortable being a teacher and a trainer, and I will expect you to say yes for our very survival. That is the other part.
A teacher and a trainer of what?
I believe we are... I'd say I believe. I know for a fact we are going to be sent back to Hardat and the Wint Manor after this trial is over, and we will be in charge of the training of young Gregor Wint and the raising up his prospects as a leader to be trusted. Vunk and Henke will likely be staying in the Goblin Market for various reasons.
Well, there's certainly no better academic in the whole of the market than me.
Exactly.
And just to be clear, it is only Charnak that is doing the teaching.
No. It will be our crew will be assigned to Gregor Wint.
Ugh, he is insufferable.
I know, but my thinking is we have the one who has occupied his whole space for this whole time, and maybe we let her play with him some if she needs it.
I suppose that would be okay.
Okay. We are agreed then.
Do you guys agree?
I do not like this, but I do not see too many other options.
To be fair, Dinfa, you do not like anything.
Well, yes.
Okay. This way. You go down this path the tent that is tiny, that has all red, that is our judicial tent. Go in the door. That is obviously for the contract enforcement stall. So I will see you inside. I must go and bring the prisoners.
We will see you in there.
Yes, good luck.
Hey, can we go back to the jungle room for a second? There's something I forgot I wanted to do.
No, fuck you, Tim. Fuck yourself. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to be stepped on like I was in Every War Must End. That's not happening. Get on this railroad or get the fuck out. All right. All right. So you guys are going to head to the thing. I mean, I'll let you talk on your way there if you have things you want to say to each other, but take your time, but hurry up.
You know what the secret to a good joke is? Timing.
No, I think
I don't have much to say.
Yeah. I think we go in. I don't think if we're telling the truth, there's not really much story to get straight.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you get in there and it's already a sort of a cacophony of goblins yelling, and this is more akin to a British parliamentary meeting than anything we would think of now as a courtroom experience.
Powdered wigs on the dais. There's 3 judges that are sitting much higher, and then it's like a whole room of people that are just sort of slammed in here, standing room only. You know, you come in and the center judge is banging his warhammer on this like giant wooden dais, and he says, "You, Hanky Gullfeather, have been found guilty by a jury of stalwarts of crimes against the market. Unauthorized use of goblin gold, trafficking extraplanar objects in the market, illegal creation of a training plane to increase one's magical ability, and attempted spell casting while in the goblin market. Any of these would cause a penalty of death by choice. But none compare to the worst charge. You have failed to prove your innocence of the grave charges of insurrection and contact with a banished goblin king, leveled on you by your own stalwart and brother, Vunk Gullfeather. What have you to say now? Or will you continue to sullenly refuse to testify?" All right, so give me a perception check, everybody. And I've got a question about that little speech there.
Yep.
16 for me.
Excellent.
19 for Dinfa.
Excellent.
6 for Eabis.
Okay.
Wait, casting a spell in the goblin market is a crime or is not a crime?
Is a crime.
Okay.
Yes. But there's not any, like, I originally was like, maybe there's some kind of magical dampener or something like that. It's not like that.
Okay.
It's just, it's against the rules. They don't want you doing that shit. They want everyone to be just as they are. It's sort of like leaving your guns at the front door.
Penalty's death, though. That's rough.
Yes.
Like prestidigitation, clean yourself up. Sorry, you die.
Although you all know that every one of these things,
Everybody does.
Everybody's
does
doing
all
it.
these.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a little chaos to this, and you know. All right. So
There's a little bit of you did this one bad thing we're actually mad about.
Yes,
but
that's
also,
we're
going to tack on every ticky-tack thing we can think of.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, so Tim, you don't, Eabis, you don't see this, but Dinfa and Charnak, you guys notice immediately that Hanky Gullfeather is clearly trying to talk. His mouth is like, it's almost like it's sealed shut, and he is like struggling with it. His hands can't come up to his face. They're like tied down. You notice, but you now see his hands that are down, like in his, like they're tied behind his back, so you can see him. He's facing the judge, and you can see that he is actually moving his fingers as though he's casting something. And let's see here. Give me another perception check, but only Dinfa and
my passive is
Charnak.
14, if that matters, but I'm clearly looking at the wrong place.
It doesn't fully matter in this situation.
19.
Okay.
15.
Okay. So both of you sort of recognize that he's about to cast something, and then sort of nothing happens. And you sort of look around the room and you see that a tall human is toward the back and like even behind where you are. And he is sort of wildly gesticulating, like clearly trying to cast something. And then you see another person behind him grab his arms, slam him down against his body, and Hanky's lips suddenly release. And Hanky calls out, "I ain't guilty!" And he's surprised as soon as he says it. And the Goblin Vunk, his brother, is in the front row, and his eyes now are super wide, and he's really surprised at what he's seeing. And he is looking around the room, and he looks back at the human, and he sees that his arms are not moving, and he can see the hands, like elven hands, that are holding this guy's arms against his body. And Hanky says, I mean, I did all them other things, but nothing anyone here ain't done. So I bought an extra round of ale from some plainy barkeep on the outside. It was mission gold. We all done that. And several people start to nod and stomp their feet, hitting the floor with walking sticks in agreement. And he says, and yeah, I had a secret plane. I made it in my closet, filled with artist and poet type women of the giantess persuasion. And he pauses and looks around, and people laugh at him. And he goes, I got creatures in there who do for me things you can't get done even in the king's bordello. I get lonely between missions, and I like big, big, big women. And like the laughing just like takes over the courtroom, and people are pounding on the ground and stomping. And you hear someone call out, "Don't kill Hanky. He's the best of us." And the judge slams down his warhammer and he says, "Hanky, what proof have you got against your brother?" And he says, "Plenty, but none for you all. I still love my brother, and I want to get those that's taken advantage of him and his dim wit. I want them to go down. Vunk," he looks down at his brother who's in the front row. Vunk has these dreadlocks that are sort of like, they don't hang down his back. They're just like a big, almost a white halo around his head. And you see him looking around, and when you catch his face, you can see that he's scared by this. He says, "Vunk, who is it? Vunk, who's got you under his thumb? Vunk, tell true. Is it that shit for brains over in Magical Oddities? Vunk." All eyes are on Vunk as people stomp and shout and plead with Vunk, and Vunk, he stands up.
So wait a second. While this is going on,
Yeah.
while everyone's attention is on Vunk, I would like to go investigate what's going on with this elf and human in the back.
Perfect.
Sort of slip out. Or
yes,
slip
and
back.
you've seen it. Yeah, the only person who didn't notice all that stuff was Eabis.
And I'm gonna I'll tap Dinfa before I go.
I'll give him a nod.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, you can give me a stealth check of wisdom or dexterity, but basically, or even charisma for that matter. Basically, like all eyes are on what's happening up front and on Hanky, who's finally talking.
So that's a 6 for a wisdom check.
Okay. But you have don't you have
Are you proficient in
proficiency in
stealth?
Stealth?
Not on my Kyber.
I see. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All
I've
right.
got investigation, nature, and perception, and arcana.
Okay.
Can I perceive the room while he's going to tap me? I'm going to nod at him. He's going to try to go that way. Can I perceive to see if anyone else is either headed toward, headed
Yeah.
the same direction.
I mean,
or was
I'm really
about to do
not trying to
something?
make sure nobody sees me. I'm
Absolutely.
just sort of taking the opportunity
Absolutely.
I just
to
wanna
go
see if
look
there's
at what
another-
no one else is looking at.
I want to see if there's another attack coming, or if somebody else wants to. Ugh, that's a 7.
Okay. So. Okay. All right. So you see that the human who has been held down looks over and notices Charnak, but can't do anything about it. He's like, he's clearly not signaling to anybody, or at least that you can tell.
Okay.
And Charnak, you're trying to go through and be like kind of cool, Mister, like backing up through the crowd, and you're like bumping into people who are trying to like muscle their way to the front. So you're actually like, you look like you're actively trying to leave this this courtroom right now to get to the back. And a guard like sees you doing this and steps up at you and says, Charnak, what are you doing? You're not thinking of leaving, are you? You're next up on the docket.
Not for a second. What's this commotion in the back all about? Everyone's looking at the front.
What are you talking about?
Why are you guards concerned with me and not what's happening over there?
And you point at the human and the elf.
Yes.
Okay.
And for a second, I was going to point the other way, but yeah.
He looks over and he goes, I don't recognize either one of them. Do you?
Do I?
No.
I don't recognize either one of them either.
Yeah. Shit. Should only be contract enforcement here. Fuck. And he holds his hand up and he starts to like wave to other guards. And you see that the like people that you didn't know were guards begin to move toward the back, toward these people who were there. And Hanky is still kind of talking, and he goes, Vunk, tell me who did it. Who's doing it to you, Vunk? And then people in the crowd start yelling, Vunk, answer Hanky. Vunk, answer Hanky. And the judge like hammers down against his market, please. And there's some level of quiet that starts to take over, but one voice begins to rise above, and it's the man who's holding the human's arms, the elf, and he says, No, Judge Skullbreak, you'd be dead if we held you to these same standards. Hanky must live. Save Hanky. And people start to chant, save Hanky, save Hanky. But now these guards are moving back toward the elf. And the judge raises up his warhammer, and you see that the bottom of the warhammer, the haft, is actually a goblin wand. And you see him like whisper something in the warhammer, and down from the back, the bottom of the haft, comes out this violet light of a blade. And as he does it, like you hear this like high-pitched squealing sound, and I need you all to give me a con saving throw.
Ooh. Boy, oh boy.
11.
20.
24. Natural 20.
Okay.
Nice.
Tim, Eabis is the only one who is not stunned of the three.
With
of
a
you.
20.
I'm telling you.
With a 20.
I'm telling you, man. This judge
This is the
fucking
judge,
high,
bud.
super high level.
Wow.
I'm going to roll for people in the crowd, though, here. It's a relatively large number of people. Let's see here. All right. You're not going to hear all the dice, but there's a lot. Okay. Oh, that messed up, but it's fine. Virtually this entire room, there's like a few people Tim, that you see, that Eabis sees, that are not just suddenly stunned. And the judge looks around and says, Hanky, you may choose the time of your death and your executioner. And of course, Hanky is also stunned, and Charnak is stunned. Everyone is stunned. And you see a couple of the guards are not, and they make their way to the back of the room and grab that elf. They leave the human alone. And you get this like a really quick view of him, and he is like old, but kind of beautiful, white, long flowing hair. And unlike everyone else in the room, he is wearing really high quality like robes that make him look like maybe a magic user.
Okay.
And you see that hanging from his belt is a goblin wand. And that usually means he's in the merchant mercantile.
Okay.
And the guards who are still there grab him and take him away. And if you're stunned, you still see what's happening here. And the three judges stand up. Two of them leave. Skullbreak remains there. And as people come out of the stun, Skullbreak says, Hanky, you may choose the time of your death and your executioner. And Hanky says, I gotta talk to my brother. And he says, that is out of the question. Time and executioner. And Hanky says, looks down at his brother and says, I choose now, and I choose my brother, Vunk. And Judge Skullbreak says, not really what I thought. And he says, are you sure now? And Hanky begins to talk, and you see his mouth close shut. And Vunk, he looks terrified. And Skullbreak says, Vunk, come forward. Do you accept this contract given to you by the court of contract enforcement to execute your brother, Hanky Goldfeather? Vunk says, I don't want to. That's not what I asked. Do you accept it? I don't want to. Yes or no? And Hanky, you now see, he just like nods and sort of gives him a look of like, do it, brother. Fuck it. He has a kind of a fuck it face on him. And Vunk nods approval, and Skullbreak comes down and hands the wand to him that's got a warhammer on one side and a glowing violet light on the other. And he says, just put this light into him, and it'll be over fast. And Vunk looks back at the human, and the human nods to him and puts the light inside his chest. And you can see the life go right out of Hanky. And the room is totally silent. And two guys from the front row go and grab his body as it sort of slumps down. And they take it past you. And as he's passing, I need you to give me a perception check.
24.
15 for Eabis.
15 for Dinfa.
So these guys are dragging him, and Vunk is a mess. Like, he's not crying, but he's in shock. And as these guys are pulling him, they go right past you, and your eyes momentarily look above the guys that are pulling, that are dragging him, and you make straight eye contact with the human who was casting, and he is staring right at you. And
which one of us, or all of us?
Who?
Because Charnak's off to the side.
Yeah, it's not Charnak.
Closer to him.
It's gonna be Dinfa. Dinfa's tall. Dinfa's standing over the thing. Dinfa. This is like straight eye contact with Dinfa. And Dinfa, give me one history check.
Okay. 16.
16. The human has shaved hair on the side all the way up to the very top, and then a long ponytail that is tied at the top of his, like a top knot that's on the top of his head in the back. You've only seen this once before, and it was the King Hoda used to wear his hair in this style. This was the king before Bodum.
King before Bodum used to wear his hair this way.
Kind of the only thing you recognize that, I mean, I say recognize, like, I mean, it's clearly not the king.
Unless it's
a human. The king was a goblin. Yeah, but this is like the hairstyle.
The king's inside somebody's body.
Yeah, and maybe it's possible.
Interesting.
And then he sees that you have made some kind of like something, like you, unfortunately, your face recognizes something in this guy, and he just brings two fingers up to his lips in the shh, be fucking quiet motion. And then he turns and leaves the court. And Skullbreak is still there, and he says, well, at least this one will be easier. Bring in the rogue Kyber. Everybody who's not a Kyber, please leave this room immediately. And people begin to move out of the room, and Skullbreak goes down and takes the wand / warhammer from Vunk and goes back up on his dais, and he's there alone. And Zaggit comes in with Gregor Wint, and he says, Kybers, stallmasters, and witnesses only. And even more people get up and leave. And he says, it's like basically the three of you, Zaggit, and three other stallmasters are the only people who are in this room now.
And is it back down to one judge, or is it
one judge?
The other two
just
judges?
One judge.
Okay.
All the judges are gone. All the other judges are gone. So what the hell do we have here? Is this one of those rogue elements that's taken over a body? And Zaggit says, It is. We caught this one in the ream called Gregor Wint. Oh, that's not going to do. It's not going to do at all. She's still there. She is. Judge Skullbrick. Well, what's her name? It is Sheba. Sheba? Sheba, can you hear me? I hear you. Skullbreak. So I know you. I know you. You were a little bitty gobbler when I met you. Wait, Sheba the original? You got it. Fuck, he says. Well, what are we going to do about you? I think the only thing you can do to me is chop off my head. And she like holds the neck of Gregor Wint with her hand, and she says, but you won't do that now, will you? He says, we have our ways. And he looks over at Zaggit and he says, can you do it, sweetie? And Zaggit says, of course I can. Of course. It's not what I like to do, but I can do it. All right. Witnesses, Dinfa, Eabis. What's the other one's name?
Charnak.
Charnak. Come on up here.
Walk forward.
I follow.
Dinfa first. What's your attestation? Did this Kyber steal a body?
Yes. There was she seemed to be upset about what is happening to Kaibas.
Well, I didn't ask that question. Yes or no will do just fine there, Dinfa.
Yes.
Eabis, is that your attestation as well?
That is the explanation we had when we went on the mission. Yes.
Charnak.
It appears to be the case. I have no personal knowledge.
All right. Another question. I had a report that there was a conflict between you and other members of the market. Charnak, what was that all about?
I do not know that there was conflict between us and other members of the market. We were attacked as we attempted to make our egress after the Great Slowdown.
Yes. That is also what I heard. Vunk Gullfeather, among others, set upon you.
Yes, the reams seemed familiar. But I could not state with certainty who was responsible.
Eabis, when Hanky Gullfeather attacked you and was calling on his mates to also attack you in direct violation of market rules and order, did you notice that Vunk was resisting?
I did not see Hanky or Vunk because we only saw Reams.
Here. And he does a minor illusion in his hand, and you see the bust of two of the Reams that attacked you. And he said,
Okay.
Which one of these two
Yeah.
Reams? This one, and he shows you one, and he says, or this one seem to be in charge. A or B?
It was hard to tell in the chaos. All of a sudden, there were arrows flying in the windows, and I cannot say with certainty who was giving commands.
Okay, let me ask you again. Was it A or B? Dinfa, do you recognize these? Was it A or B?
Does A look like one of the people I saw?
Yeah. They both look like people you saw.
I saw both.
Charnak?
A and B.
Charnak.
It was A, undoubtedly.
A was the one in charge.
Clearly,
He was calling the shots, is what you're saying.
I perceive things more clearly than the rest of my crew. I had an excellent vantage point to see that A was the one in charge, undoubtedly.
And B tried to get away, but was also set upon by A and his minions.
He thinks for a second. So that interpretation could very well be true. It does explain certain actions that I seemed incongruous to me at the time.
Very well, Charnak. Very helpful. Eabis, do you concur? Is this your attestation as well, that A, Hanky Gullfeather's Ream, was attacking you and calling the shots, that B, Vunk Gullfeather, and their minions were powerless to resist? Is that your attestation as well?
I'm not certain that was the case, but that may very well have been the situation. It was chaos, and we tried to defend ourselves on the way to escape. That is...
Eabis, you're killing me here. Dinfa. Is this your attestation? Do you agree with Charnak? Is Charnak a liar, is what I'm asking you. Did A set upon you and use his considerable powers of persuasion to get B and the other minions, and he throws up some other faces of Reams that you recognize, to set upon you in the town of Hardat
I have never known Charnak to be a liar. He always notices things we do not notice.
So you also
Therefore-
didn't notice it, for fuck's sake. Zaggit! Were you there? I was not. But I'm quite sure, based on my after interviews, that I do not know why the confusion is now setting in. Eabis, remember you told me it was this one with a ponytail who did the thing. The Charnak, like Charnak says, right?
I am sorry that my recollection is not strong. My
Forgive
dream is
me,
very short,
Judge.
so certain
May-
details were lost.
May I
But
make an additional statement?
perhaps Charnak's clarification will help.
Absolutely, Charnak. Charnak the truth teller.
Being a Kyber is an incredibly specialized skill set, and we tend to focus on our roles almost to the exclusion of all else. We are also trained to perceive the world as it is without making any assumptions or extrapolations beyond what we immediately perceive. I believe what you are observing here is that both Eabis and Dinfa were extremely focused on the task at hand and unwilling to make additional extrapolations or assumptions beyond what their immediate senses gave them. Their role was not to observe, plan, strategize, make tactical decisions. Those things fall to me in combat, and therefore I was best equipped to see the entire field of battle.
And it was A.
Undoubtedly. Who now lies dead. Thanks to your impeccable judgment.
It was open and shut, really, Charnak. The evidence was even things that we were not allowed to share with the full courtroom. I'm glad you saw it, and I'm so happy that we did not make a terrible mistake.
Yes, of course. The others who were there, though, were killed. Thanks to the great slowdown, unfortunately. I'm curious as to what other evidence could have been provided that I might be in a position to corroborate.
It's very nice of you to offer. I will keep this in mind for future trials. There are other Kybers who may well face similar fate for their treachery.
Indeed. Well, anytime you would like me to review any other evidence pertaining to this incident and give my corroboration or expert opinion on it, I would be happy to share my knowledge and expertise.
I appreciate it. And he looks down at Zaggit and he kind of sort of nods, and Zaggit goes, "You see, I told you, we're fine. We're absolutely fine here." And he says, "Good. We're going to have to purge more. The kings are coming back, Zaggit." And she says, "Yes, I know. We will do all we can to protect against it. May Bodum save us." Yes, may Bodum save us all. And then he looks up at the
Can I do an
noble.
insight check on Skullbreak when he says that the kings are coming back, and see if there's any tell as to which side of that he is on?
Yeah, sure.
That's a 9.
Yeah, I mean, look, he said, "May Bodum save us from the kings coming back." So, whether he meant it or not, the words he's saying is definitely it's a bad thing that the kings are coming back.
Yeah.
Right, the Reem, the noble child. Okay, Sheba, sorry, I know you're original. You usually get a lot more leeway, but it seems that Vunk and Hanky killed your body. It is my firmest apology, but this Reem is meant for another. I figured as much, you fucking cheaters. I wish you all would die slow deaths. I know. I know you do, and all your kind do too. You're all gonna die. And she looks around and she points at you three and she says, you're all gonna die. And she looks at Zaggit and she says, and you're gonna die first. And she raises up her hand like she's about to cast something. And Zaggit touches the back of her head and give me a perception check.
23 for Eabis. Finally.
I got that
Now Eabis is on high alert.
50-cent face on.
Uh-huh.
What do you say fuck me for? 22
16 for Dinfa.
Okay. So you see that she is casting, and it is it's a real fucking doozy, and it is a mind spike. And she has mind spiked Gregor Wint, and you see his eyes go white, and he slumps down, and suddenly you all notice that the crow on her shoulder is like moving around super erratically, like moving a wing up when it shouldn't, and the beak opening up, and it sort of pecks up at the face of Zaggit, and then sort of settles down, and Skullbreak goes, no, we have to ask her. We have to figure out where the other originals are coming from. Oh, Zaggit. And she says, but he was going to kill us. She was going to kill us. She's so powerful. She could have cast a Sirocco on us and made us all die of wind and fire. Skullbreak, too dangerous. Too dangerous. And he says, yes, well, fuck. You three. You've got your mission, right? You know what you're doing?
We are taking care of this one?
Not just taking care of this one. This one has a manor that sits on top of a mine that, God help me, after years of searching, we found a giant load of ladybone. It's the only place outside of A69 that we've ever found it.
Not even an A420?
Not even an A420. Listen, this noble is going to take over that mine, and we need him to be the most powerful, the best general that he possibly can be. We need everyone from the surrounding community to know that he's a hero, so that no one ever questions whether he ought to control this mine. They think it's about the wheat. It's not about the wheat. It's about the mine. You're there to build his reputation. Make him a good vessel. And make sure his father fucking survives until he's 20 years old and is allowed to be the new Baron of Wint Manor, so that there's no succession problems. You understand?
We understand.
That's 2 years.
I will treat his
gentlemen.
reputation as my own.
Good. You can feel free to use him as a ream. In fact, I highly recommend you guys take turns doing it, because he needs to be seen as a leader that can do it all. Do you understand?
You say 2 years. That is in relation to which plane? I assume we are fixing this, yes?
Dinfa. I don't know.
His plane was an A-plane.
It was an A plane. Now it's a D plane. a lot of our hopes rest on making sure this mine is in our control.
Given I'm sorry if this is not a place to ask, but if as many people have died in the last few days, will we survive 2 years while we secure the mine? Can the market survive?
I mean, I don't know. You're going to go there and you're going to live out your lives the next 2 years. You can come back here occasionally, but I need to make sure he is safe. Zaggit. Yes. You got stuff here and you got stuff there. Fellas, how does it sound? Once every 2 months, you can get some R&R time, and Zaggit can be in charge of the Wint Manor for a week or so. We'll work on sending out people there who can help you.
I don't think that will be a problem.
Okay.
I think we can make that work.
All right.
Will our location be a secret to anyone else in the market?
Everybody in this market, nobody knows this, but me, you three, Zaggit, and Bodum himself. Now.
Wait, before we continue. Be plain. If we go to A plane, is it a D plane?
I see that plane.
They seem to all be the same.
Even if we take a C plane?
Yes, Charnak. Now, you're going to get whatever you need, but you're at risk. And it's not right for your Reams to take the risk that they didn't think they were going to take. You've got a hard conversation to have with them. This is going to be like sending you to an F plane. Their contracts will be considered finished if they accept this. And if they don't accept it, we're going to have to get you another Ream.
Understood.
We're still a market of rules and contracts. No matter what Hicksaw and his shitheads have to say about it.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys. And he raises up his warhammer, and he says, if I ever see a single one of those Hicksaw motherfuckers, I will put the purple light right in their fucking face. And
contract is law.
Contract or nothing. Very well. Skullbreak tells you, and you fucking do it. Skullbreak out. And he walks away.
Does he drop the hammer? No.
He doesn't. The hammer, but the light goes away, and he walks off. And Zaggit looks at you all and says, well, that was interesting.
Zaggit, you told us to tell our truth.
You did tell your truth.
I was not prepared.
Too much, Dinfa. Too much truth. Charnak, good work. You kept us all alive.
Why would you tell us to tell the truth if you did not need us to tell the truth?
Some of us are smart enough to know the exact right amount of truth to apply. I wouldn't expect you to understand, Eabis.
All you have to say is the exact amount of truth to apply. Not tell all your truth. Just say the words.
That's... Dinfa, it's fine. Not everyone is expected to be an independent thinker in this crew, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Charnak, and he walks off.
Yeah. And the
this
raven.
Is the one time I'm glad you are paying attention, Charnak.
The raven flaps its wings and flies over to Dinfa's shoulder and pecks at its ear. It pecks at your ear a little bit. And you hear this almost like a whisper, but it's kind of a, and it says, Thank you. And
Dinfa reaches up and just kind of pets the bird on the head.
I think, Zaggit, you may have some splaining to do
yes, of course.
regarding kings returning, originals, strife within the market, extrajudicial killings. We've been in the jungle room for too long, I fear.
Yes, of course. I will answer everything I can. But for now, we are alive. We are safe. And I think we have a new friend.
Was Zaggit stunned when Skullbreak stunned the whole court, or was she not there yet?
She wasn't there yet.
Okay.
Yeah. For now, let's go get our equipment and get our reams and get the fuck out of this marketplace.
Oh, do we have Gregor Wint with us too?
Yes, you have Gregor Wint with you, but he's still knocked the fuck out. Like he is like he is.
So is Dinfa carrying him? Who's
You guys
He's
are
on a
still
stretch.
in the courthouse, but you're alone.
okay,
now.
we
There's
haven't left
nobody
yet.
else here.
I've left. I'm gone.
Yeah, Dinfa already walked out. Yeah,
I walked
remember
out
he
with the
walked
bird.
out.
That's right. Okay, so Dinfa's gone.
I look over at Eabis. Well, I'm not carrying him.
I could drag him, but I think he would have bruises.
Zaggit looks around and says, "All right, just pretend like you're dragging him." And she begins to cast something, and she says, "Here, just pull him up on this, and you'll see. If touch here, and
So Eabis like grabs his by the arms and is kind of dragging, like supporting his head, so his head's against her chest, but like dragging so his feet are just like dragging behind him. She's very slowly and very awkwardly walking backwards,
awesome.
trying not to trip, and just like her strength is 8, so this is
Well, it's on he's on a floating disc now. So Zaggit has
right,
cast
but,
this floating disc.
It shouldn't be too easy either.
Here, I'll get his feet.
Yeah. And this like
Thank you,
6'2", like wheat fed fucking knight looking guy is being carried by a I guess you see a gnome and a tiefling. And
Just put the feet, put each
Now,
foot on
weirdly-
one shoulder, and then you walk forward, and I will walk forward.
I mean, Charnak has a strength of 10. So he's a little even a little more buff than Eabis.
yeah. All right. So
Yeah, Eabis is a little soft.
so you're dragging the body. It's floating. Occasionally, like its foot, like falls down, but like it's still being like carried over, and it looks ridiculous what you guys are doing. Like if anybody like passes a DC 10 perception check, they can tell that you are floating him along a disc, but whatever, no one's even looking.
No one cares about our business.
No one cares
They're
right
too focused on themselves.
now. And you
By
may
speaking it, I will it into being.
and she takes you back to the bathhouse, and she says, yes, here, just put them in. Fucking Dinfa. Give him some time, but we must talk soon. Everyone, let's have a schwitz. And
Everyone, have a shit, spit, and then a schwitz.
and she disrobes the Gregor Wint on this disc, and he slowly floats down in, and you see that his eyes are starting to open up. Dinfa, what are you doing?
I'm going over to Reese.
Okay.
Wait, the reams are here in the bathhouse?
No.
Dinfa's not with you guys. Dinfa
okay.
left.
Yeah.
Took off.
I just go over. Reese, how you doing? I'm fine. What's the matter? I just can't believe I went to this stupid hearing and the setting don't set us up for success. Anyway, we have to go soon. We are on a mission. We are going to new plane, but apparently there's something wrong with the planes, and we're going to be gone for 2 months. Yeah. 2 months, sure. And then how long are we going to be gone here? No, it's 2 months for everything. What? It's the planes. Something has happened with the planes. It will be dangerous, but we are it's nothing that we can't handle. I do not know what is going on with. I'll be straight with you. It seems we could actually die this time. No, wait. I didn't. That's not in my contract. Well, what do you mean? I mean, no, if there's something wrong with the planes, my contract's null and void. I'm out, Dinfa. I'm out. You can't be out? What do you mean out? I mean, I've got a family, Dinfa. I cannot be here if I can't be safe. I'm sorry. I gotta go. Get out of my way. I gotta go. I gotta figure this out. And he pushes past him and leaves.
All right. You guys you gonna head over to the bathhouse, John?
After a while, he's kind of sitting and thinking. He's not sure what's going to happen. But yeah, after a while, he ends up over there and kind of sinks into the tub.
Okay. All right. So you guys are there. Wint hasn't come to. I mean, he sort of opened his eyes up for a little bit, and Zaggit.
Sup?
Dinfa's sitting as far away from Charnak as possible.
Zaggit fills you in as best she can, and she just says, yes, the kings, it seems that there has been some kind of conspiracy going on for quite a long time to bring kings back to the Goblin market. They do not believe that we have lived up to the original mission of the Great Elk and the originals, and they have, as far as I can tell, been collecting both originals and kings to overthrow the current market.
This has been in the works for some time then.
It seems as though it has been, and what your friend Markeef told us about magical oddities was news to me, but fits right into place. I don't have contacts in the mercantile, but my guess is things are very much the same there. I can tell you that we've had 2 stalwarts leave contract enforcement in much the same way.
The new kings would still be bound to honor contracts that were created in their absence. Yes?
I mean, ostensibly, yes, but it's not like the new contracts are very different from the old ones. It was very hard to leave the market.
But our contracts are with the market, not with a particular king.
No, but revolutions bring changes to bureaucracies. I understand why you're asking me and what you're asking me. The answer I have for you is, if we stand by what is left of the court, if we stand by Bodum, if we stand by Skullbreak and the judges and the people who are here and seem to be here for us in what I can only call the real market, your contract is much more likely to be honored.
Zaggit, I noticed something in the court before you arrived.
Tell me.
And Charnak noticed this too, but he was stunned by Skullbreak. Skullbreak stunned almost everyone.
And I also noticed you noticing.
There was a human who was muting Hanky, and at one point he was stopped. And in the stun, they took the person who stopped the human away. They took away an elf, but they left the human, and at that point, I noticed Hanky no longer spoke before he was executed.
magic in a court proceeding.
There was. And it seemed to me like Skullbreak knew the human. He also seemed so dead set on being set that it was on the record that he made the correct decision with Hanky in the way we were interrogated, that I have to say, I don't know how well you trust Skullbreak.
I don't know who to trust now.
But I have questions.
I wonder if this is some kind of gambit to get those of us who are loyal to the old market to out ourselves and claim allegiance without knowing who we are claiming allegiance to. This is very bad.
I'm not sure we have a choice other than following our mission directive regardless, but I felt you should know in case there are other allegiances at play that may undermine our goals.
Thank you. We are in precarious situations here. I will be going back and forth the market often. You will be staying, for the most part, in Hardat with this one. And he's still kind of like coming to a little bit. He still is like kind of super fucked up. And she says, "Oh shit, I forgot." And she like snaps her finger and you can tell like he's suddenly out of pain. And she says, I accidentally left my mind spike in you. I apologize for that.
You just stuck it in and left it in?
I just stuck it in and left it in. I always forget. I always forget. She says, and he's like coming to me. He says, "Whoa, that was really interesting. Guys, I still feel like we're in that dream we were talking about earlier. You and you and you." And Dinfa, your shoulder suddenly gets super fucking heavy. And you look up and there's a naked leg sitting there, and like this woman rolls off into the bath, and it is like she is an absolutely gorgeous 20-something goblin, and she goes, "Oh, this is actually better than I thought it was going to be."
How long are our arms?
Long enough. They go all the way up, baby.
They go all the way up. First, I thought it might be one of Hanky's giants.
No, it's a goblin. And she says, "What? Don't you recognize me?" And
well, that's got to be Sheba, right?
yeah, Zaggit goes, "This is Sheba. This apparently is what she looked like when she was younger. Very nice, Sheba."
Oh, yes, very nice, Sheba.
Oh, yeah. I only have about an hour in this form. Dinfa, you want to make a little experiment with me?
Dinfa hops out.
Oh, shit, really? I don't expect that. Shit. Oh, no. I'm not showing that in scene.
I'm sorry, was that a joke?
No, absolutely not.
That's the most surprised I've ever seen Tom be by the decision we made.
I gotta get him back every now and then.
Okay, so they go back in the Steam area. We're not going to show that. It's a family show.
Is it though?
But
yes, we know.
Zaggit says,
"Listen, we're just going to fade out past all the fucking and sucking,
"Oh, Sam,
inserting, and excreting."
Wait, who was the one that was talking about all of the licking? That was you, Tom. So let's, we're staying on brand.
Well, let me just say this. John, you guys put in an actual session. It's a real session. But it does not get all the way through an hour. And there's a really particular dangerous moment when she suddenly shrinks back down into the size of a raven.
The fuck?
And it is very dangerous. And she flies back up on your shoulder, and it's just like, yeah,
Quirks and nuzzling.
super weird. Super weird.
Back in the hot tub with a bird on my shoulder.
Um,
Scratching on the neck.
yeah.
And just Eabis just shaking her head.
So Zaggit just looks at you all and says, it's very dangerous.
I like how we cut away for an hour and nothing happens with
Yeah.
us. We're literally just sitting there
We're all
like paused,
listening.
waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Did you hear a squawk? That sounded like a pain to squawk to me.
He's got feathers like on his mouth. Yeah. She says, okay.
Did you know that?
So Zaggit just looks at you and she says, I thought before any of this happened, we would all be a little bit better, more skilled, but maybe Sheba gives us the fighting chance we needed. We're being dropped in the middle of an ogre encampment when we go in.
Why?
Good Lord, why?
Gregor Wint needs to be seen vanquishing a powerful foe.
Surely we could approach from outside of the encampment
Yes, sure. We'll be a mile away. But we're going straight there.
to battle.
Right to
I
battle.
understand.
Gentlemen.
As long as we are not appearing in the middle of 8 ogres, I
Yes, no,
can
it
accept
won't be
this.
like that. But
Okay.
gentlemen, ladies.
Well, it sounds like for those of you who thought all this talking was long and tedious,
We will have some action soon.
we will have some action coming to us.
Very soon.
Yeah.
Well, and as the water in the hot tub that you're in gets cooler and cooler, you realize there's no one left here who is taking care of the bathhouse. And you just suddenly feel like you're kind of in the frontier here in the Goblin Market. Things are different from when you went into the jungle room. And outside you hear silence. Never been like this quiet. And Zaggit just looks at you and says, "It's as real bad, but you'll get
Yes.
used to it."
I should speak with Devmin.
Yes.
Charnak, I suppose you should speak with Splendor.
Yes, we will discuss a renegotiation.
Good luck, everyone. I'll see you in the porthole in 2 hours.
2 hours. That is not much time.
And that's where we're going to end episode 6 of the Goblin
Woof.
Market.
Damn.
There's a action-packed with consequences and situations.
Absolutely.
I
Love
love
of the politiques.
All right, well, we'll talk about that. And our bonus on the last one was focused on level up so much. Perhaps we'll talk about the jungle room a little bit more
Absolutely.
on the next
Oh.
bonus. Available.
I just
on our
thought of one
Patreon.
more thing I wanted to do in
No.
the jungle room.
And maybe Tom will tell me what's up with this rod that I've got.
I'll
Right,
figure it
hand
out.
wave it,
In the
right? We're
bonus.
just going to hand wave it.
Just gonna hand wave it. I'm just gonna pick what I want it to be. Good. We're good.
No, it's a thing.
Plus
It's a
8
thing.
lead pipe. Oh Lord. Boom, you did.
Right.
Boom, you did.
Shillelagh.
Yeah, and it works on charisma because I don't have any strength or dexterity.
right.
Okay. No. All
Get
right.
some more of this hot pod on the bonus.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for coming by, everybody.
Patreon.com/DungeonDaz to get that bonus episode and so much more. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for coming by.
Thanks.